version of a gathering. If I'm here and you're here, doesn't it make it our time, Mr. Hand? And that's why I said this is our time as Raider Nation and fans of football that we gather here and exchange wonderfulness and thoughts. And I just wanted to make sure people remembered that.
Captain, talk a little football, eating a little walleye.
Yeah, little football, little walleye.
Hey, Captain,
football, big walleye.
Hey,
Twan's got a question, Cap. Twan's got a question.
Okay,
Hey,
who got a question?
hey, Captain. I know that we were drafting a lot of talent these past couple of days. Did you actually see some talent in other areas in Wisconsin?
Yeah,
Oh, I know what you're saying. The only talent that I saw in Wisconsin was the pictures of the young ladies that you saw me with. That was the only talent. I knew where that was going, Twan. It is Twan, right? It sounded like Twan.
Yeah, it's Twan.
Yeah.
Now, we saw all the pictures of Captain Jack getting kissed on by all the ladies from all the different teams. I would call it sacrilege that you let two Chiefs women kiss you, but then I saw the picture and was like,
yeah.
Right. It's
not sacrilege. And by the way, they're all the ladies that you saw me taking pictures with are wonderful. They're beautiful ladies inside and out.
I know it's after the draft, so they could be considered UDFAs at this point.
There you go. Yeah, they're definitely free agents for everybody.
The ladies are
here.
flocking to him like seagulls do it at the beach for French fries. So,
but if there's any other talent around, the only good-looking lady that I am very close to right now is Betsy, and she's accounted for.
Well, again, thanks, Cap, for joining us, and thank you so much for all your knowledge all the time. Captain Jack will be back in his home for the, if I'm not mistaken, it's the Tuesday. Are you doing a Tuesday show, Cap, or are you going right back to Thursday?
If I have some things to talk about, maybe I'll do something on Tuesday. And everybody here is welcome. If I do have a Tuesday show, because I wanted to be in studio to do it, everybody's here is welcome to come back. I'll let you guys know. But if not, then I'll see everybody on Thursday.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, Cap. Thank you so much.
Thanks again. Appreciate it. Hey, Angelo, like I said, kick me out. I'm not going to push the wrong button here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Bye, Cap. See ya. All right, there he is, the great Captain Jack. And as he was saying his goodbyes, we're welcomed with the presence of the great, the am I saying it right? Is it the Reverend Raider Twuan or is it the Bishop Raider Twuan? What is it?
I just consider myself to be the chaplain of the nation.
The chaplain of the Raider Nation right here, Raider Twuan. Twuan. Check out his YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Please like everybody's channels. And Twuan, what we're doing is we're going backwards, right? So we're starting with just talking about why did we take the two quarterbacks. I'm about to go to Jeff. Jeff is going to tell us why he believes we took Tommy Mellott, who, as Jason Downs here says, Turf has to be stoked about touchdown Tommy. I'm sure he is super stoked about him. Touchdown Tommy and Cam Miller. Jeff, what's your thoughts on the back-to-back QBs?
Well, I mean, technically, they drafted a quarterback and a wide receiver is what it comes down to. So, obviously, Miller's going to be the quarterback, and Tommy's going to be the wide receiver option out of this. I mean, that kid Mellott, that kid's fast, man. I don't know if you saw his times. Do you have the profile on his times? Because they're pretty quick, from what I understand.
Yeah, you're talking about touchdown Tommy, right? Yeah. Brandon talked about his measurables were insane. 4.41. His vertical was like a 40 or some crazy thing like that. It was this guy is like a pure athlete, and on the press conference, Jeff, and I'll let you keep going. But on the press conference, Brandon mentioned that the reason why they took him is they don't even want to pigeonhole him into a position because he can do so many different things that at the very least he'll be in special teams. So I think he's going to make the final 53. And I actually was joking with Turf because I said we're going to kick out Dylan Lobby to go keep Tommy Mellott, but that might happen. So go ahead, Jeff. Sorry.
Like I said, he's going to be that hybrid position. You know, he's going to be a quarterback / wide receiver, but we did draft him. That's what he was slated as, was a wide receiver in the draft. It wasn't a quarterback. But everybody's still calling him a quarterback. Why did we draft two quarterbacks? We technically really didn't draft two quarterbacks. Yes, He played that in college, but he's more known for his receiving skills and just his overall athleticism and his speed. His 40 time is 4.39, which is insane. I mean, and he's not huge. He's like Hunter Renfrow, but faster. I think a little bit more wiry, like a little bit more squiggly than Renfrow was. The other thing with him too is I just had the thought in my head too. I lost my train of thought for a second. Damn it. I forgot what I wanted to say about him. I had it right there too, because I've been thinking about it the whole time Cap's been talking. Don't forget this. Don't forget this.
You're talking about his punt return abilities or his
Nope.
special teams abilities?
Because now with him coming to the Raiders, he's got the ultimate guy on our team already that can help him further that transition in the pros from playing primarily quarterback to the wide receiver with Jacoby Myers, because Jacoby Myers played quarterback in college, and he was converted to a wide receiver when he came to the pros. So he's got him to help him mentor and help him understand that change and guide him in the right way. As far as Miller, Miller's not a bad quarterback. He's 41 wins in his time at North Dakota. He's a good quarterback. Is he potentially a starter? No, probably not. But again, it's always good to draft. I said this the other day, and I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks. It's always good to draft a quarterback, no matter whether you need him or not. It just instills competition in the quarterback room, and it keeps your other quarterbacks that are already on the roster achieving that higher level every time. Because if somebody comes in and you draft him, like say this kid, say he just shines in the preseason and training camp and everything, you're forcing your other quarterbacks to step their game up too, because they got to stay ahead of this guy, which is what we didn't do with Derek Carr. We didn't do Derek Carr any favors those years he was here. We never brought in depth behind him and put him to the challenge every season. So he knew what he did was the best he could do because he had nobody pushing him. So did he really have to excel? No, he just had to keep doing what he was doing. He had his job locked up because he could easily beat anybody that we did bring in because they were mostly bums anyway. So that freaking hurts too. So what they're doing, I see what they're doing, and I agree with it. I like the moves we're making. We're bringing in mentally strong kids, physically strong players. There's really nobody that's got any type of major medical issue or health issue out of this group, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, we're not taking any chances on some of these guys. So I mean, they're drafting with the need that these guys are pretty much mostly going to make the roster, if you ask me. So I don't have a problem with the two quarterbacks that we're taking. I know Turf's ecstatic. I was watching him last night on the Raider Syndicate, and he was beside himself. He was so. As soon as I saw us grab that kid, and I knew where he was coming from, I'm like, Turf's got to be ecstatic right now, and he was psyched. I mean, his alma mater, you got a player.
Jeff, any overall feelings about Cam Miller as the guy who might be taking over for Carter Bradley or anything like that, or not much?
Oh, I think he's probably going to beat out Carter Bradley. I had that feeling.
Yeah,
I think Bradley's time here might be done. Because think about it. I mean, if you want to look at it on pure numbers alone and keep that all of them listed as quarterbacks, that means we've also got 5 quarterbacks in our locker room right now. So convert one to a wide receiver down to 4. I don't think you're gonna. No, I think Brad. I think he's gone. I think he's gonna be gone.
All right. Yeah. Well, just like Pigs 76 here says, it's about creating a dynamic in-camp competitors with proven record for winning. That is a great comment. So, Twuan, your thoughts on the back-to-back QB / wide receiver QB pick in that 6th round?
I think they were drafted. I think they were drafted where they needed to be drafted. I don't know. I'm gonna slightly disagree with Jeff on a little bit on it because I believe that I don't believe that all these guys are going to end up making the roster. I think what's going to end up happening, but it is still a positive in its essence. It's going to create competition. And when you're talking about in regards to the quarterback position, I saw Cam Miller. he did look good on the highlight tapes that I did see from him. But we already know and that the number one spot is already locked. There is almost no way that any of these quarterbacks, even if they had their best day, that they were going to supplant Geno Smith. So we already know who our number one is. Now, I think the main reason why they also did bring in this quarterback is because you have to make competition for someone like an Aiden O'Connell and a competition for Carter Bradley to get the best three quarterbacks out of that group. I think in regards to how Pete Carroll wants to roster wise, I think he's going to carry three quarterbacks. So it's going to be a competition on who's the one that's holding the clipboard and who's going to be the emergency quarterback. And I think that's why they brought in this guy to push that. I know that there's also a UDFA that they brought in quarterback wise to even thicken the quarterback room. So there's going to be a big battle that we're going to see, especially during preseason, which is going to be exciting to watch. The other guy, I think we've all been Raider fans long enough to kind of have some post-traumatic, stress on the next guy that I want to be talking about, because he has the similarities of what I call the Lynn Bowden, right? We've heard of Lynn Bowden. Lynn Bowden was that quarterback / wide receiver / joker, whatever situation, and that didn't fully pan out. So hopefully, with this organization, it might, that it could possibly, pan out. But I don't see, even with the guys that we drafted, all of them being athletic, just to group them all together, I don't see all of these guys making the roster.
That's competition. That's a fair point there, Twuan. I want to BL, thank you for joining us on the Captain Jack Rackham channel. And again, wherever you guys are at, whether you're on 401 Raider Jeff, I'm still trying to get used to it. It's YouTube, or Christopher Raiders YouTube, or T3's YouTube, or Twan's YouTube channel, or here at the Captain Jack Rackham channel. We ask you to please continue to comment on the chats. Please press those like buttons. Please subscribe to all of it, because it really does help all of this out. And again, everybody here is very passionate about our team, so we appreciate you guys joining us. Thank you, BL, for joining us. And I'll give you just my final thoughts on it before we move on to that 7th round pick and the linebackers, and then we can get going on the exciting ones. So Cam Miller, if you look at him, and again, you guys could start doing your research now. 6'1", he's got some abilities. He won the national championship against Montana State for the FCS. We all know that there are good quarterbacks that have come out from the FCS, so it's not like we don't know that. But I gotta, and again, everybody kind of said their words about Cam Miller, but I'm telling you guys, Malik Williams from UNL, who took over for Matthew Sluka, who turned his back on our team at UNLV after the 3rd game, talking about money and craziness. And Malik Williams, who was actually the better quarterback, proudly sat behind him and said, you know what? I'm going to do what's right for the team. And as soon as he took over, UNLV took off to the point where we almost went to the playoffs. We almost beat Ashton Genty and Boise State. That almost happened. It was that close of a game. I was there that night. That's why I also know Ashton Genty is the real deal. But I'll tell you this about Malik Williams and why I believe the Raiders took him. If you think about Geno, the way he throws, the way he rolls, the way he moves, Malik Williams could do all of that. But the one thing Malik Williams does even better than Geno is when he takes the ball and he takes off, he's gone. So just on a practice squad alone, it would be helpful to have Malik Williams in the team, because he would be able to kind of emulate some of the things that Mahomes and some of these other running quarterbacks could do to us. So this is why I believe Carter Bradley will most likely be kicked out, and it'll most likely be Malik Williams. The contest now that I'm interested in, guys, is Cam Miller versus Malik Williams, because we already know Aiden O'Connell's going to make it, and obviously Geno's there. But if the Raiders choose to carry a third in the 53-man roster, a third quarterback, I could see it being Hajj Malik Williams. I could also see them saying we're only going to carry 2, and then we'll just drop them to the practice squad and hope that no one takes them and stuff like that. So we'll see. And then you guys already pretty much said it. And Turf was texting me about Tommy Mellott. And yeah, he's so crazy athletic that he's, I mean, would you guys rather have Dylan Lobby fumbling the ball, or would you rather have Tommy Mellott be the special team? So
I'll take Mellott.
I'll take Mellott.
Yeah.
And I think that also
I think he's a little faster than Lobby. I don't know how fast he running again. Jeff
4.39. 4.39.
4.39.
At least faster, and he's looking more elusive. Like I seen, watch some of the tape on Montana, and he got that feet, that quick shift feet, and he gets going. He could
pretty fast for a white boy, that's for sure. I gotta say that much. I mean that's for a white kid coming out.
And man. And another thing on top of that, he can jump. So, but anyway, I think he'll take Lobby's spot because the guy looks swift. I mean, there's fast, there's quick, and there's swift. There's swift is like he's gone. So I think he'll take Lobby, the heartbeat.
All right. Well, let's move on, and hopefully everybody's getting kind of the opinions. Again, thank you to the chat. You guys are rocking it tonight. Chat lives do matter, so thank you very much. Continue to put your questions or your comments on the chat. We all appreciate it on everybody's channels. 7th round pick, we finally picked up a linebacker, and when we were on Jeff's show, we had been asking for a linebacker since the 4th round. We kept going, hey Jeff, what do you think about this? Hey Chris, and then they just kept passing, and we're like, all right, man, they got to get somebody. And I think it was 805 Raider Paul who said, yeah, him and I were kind of going at it because I like Jackson Woodard from UNLV, who ended up getting signed to Seattle.
He called this guy out earlier.
Yeah, he called this guy. He liked Cody Lindenberg from the Minnesota Golden Gophers. And if you guys watch him, he's going to make the team. Part of the reason why he will make this team is because he captains everyone too. He teaches everyone. So he's a culture kind of guy. And I can see him totally making the 53-man roster. I'm not quite sure. I don't think he'll be starting or anything like that. He's probably at least a 1-year project, possibly a 2. But before I get everybody's takes on this, I do want to let you know that we also picked up 2 more linebackers. One kid from Baylor, Matt Jones, who looks pretty good. And then the other kid from Indiana. I'll get you the name once we get going and everybody's talking about it. But sent over the tapes. I think I sent it over to Jeff. I sent it over to somebody, and I was like,
"You did."
Hey,
I just had so much going on today. I didn't get a chance to watch any of it.
Yeah. But I don't know. Like I can see one of those guys beating out some of the other guys that we already have under contract too. So it's going to be a very competitive linebacker room now that we have that.
Oh, you mean like Eichenberg's position might not be safe?
No. I think Tommy's going to stay because we picked him 5th. But
they must have really found something they like in him because
I was thinking
heavy on linebackers during the draft is the thing.
Yeah, I was thinking more like if you watch Amari Gaynor and then you watch these other 2 that we just took in Matt Jones, and I'll remember the Indiana kid's name in a sec. They can kind of do all the things that Amari Gaynor can do, so he might be the one that gets taken out. But there are others that are I'll start naming them once you guys start going. But let's start with you, Jeff, on the linebacker room, and let's your opinion now that we picked up 3 since 7th round pick and the 2 UDFAs. Where are you at now with the linebacker room, and what do you think of that Cody Lindenberg kid?
I mean, I don't know a lot about him other than what 805 was talking about when he was on the show with us yesterday. And all I know is he was hyped on him, hoping that we could get him at some point. And when we got him in the 7th, he was ecstatic that we were able to grab the guy. I mean, compared to what our linebacker situation's been lately, the only bright spot we had in linebacker prior to was Spillane, and he's gone now. We weren't going to pay him that kind of money. I know everybody's upset that we lost, Spillane. He was kind of like obviously he was our leader on defense, along with Max. They were the 2 backbones of that defense. Did we improve the linebackers since Spillane was gone? Maybe. we don't know yet. You know, it's kind of hard to really put a grade or a feeling on what we did with this linebacker room right now, because number one, we're 24 hours from the end of the draft, or just a little over 24 hours from the draft ending. We've picked up undrafted free agents. Until OTAs start and training camps and reports start coming back out as far as, you know, how this guy looks, you know, from all these different beat reporters, and then spreading the word, and, you know, fans being in the practice, watching the practices and getting a feel for it. Until that time comes, I got to reserve judgment on pretty much almost all of these guys that we drafted. You have to. And we're bringing in from undrafted free agents. Because until that time, it's all just, oh, this guy looks good. He looks great on paper. You know, until we get into the physical aspect of the practices, really can't you can put a grade on how we did in the draft with the talent available of these players, you know, from their college time. But you can remember, different beasts, college to pros, man. You know, once they get under the spotlight of the, you know, the pro level, you know, playing with, you know, grown ass men, you know, it's a different story. You know, some of these kids may fold, some of them may actually shine. You never know. So I got to kind of reserve judgment on the linebacker room right now. Did we do better? Who knows? We brought in bodies though to compete. That's the big thing.
Well, and that's a fair sentiment. The other kid's name is Jalen Walker from Indiana. So Matt Jones from Baylor, Jalen Walker from Indiana. You guys who are listening on the Roku channel or on the YouTube channel or Facebook or any of the Captain Jack network or everybody else's Here's network, look them up. Jalen Walker is kind of like Amari Gaynor. That's what I was saying. You know, we'll see what happens there. T3, what do you think about the linebacker room now that we picked up all these people?
All right, I'm gonna talk about the linebackers real quick, and then I'm gonna jump ahead and just talk about one of the player, because I've got school in the morning, so I'm here on the East Coast, and I've got to cut it short. So I'll.
Don't worry about those kids.
They ain't paying attention anyway.
Yeah, I know. Kids.
Anyway, as far as the linebackers, I think I mentioned this previously. I was not happy with the fact that we waited as late as we did to get a linebacker. When the second round came around and the 48th pick was there, I was hoping that the Raiders were going to pick up Demetrius Knight, the linebacker out of South Carolina. Instead, they traded back and got some additional picks. But then when it got down to the pick of Dante Thornton, the wide receiver out of Tennessee, who I know people are raving about, Danny Stutzman, the linebacker of Oklahoma, was right there, 2 picks behind. That was the other guy that I was hoping that they would pick up to fill that linebacking need. He's a guy that I'd had penciled in numerous mock drafts, and that was another linebacker I thought got away. So the Lindenberg pick was good. Again, he'll probably make the roster. Do I think he's going to be a starter? I think that really depends on injuries. There were some guys that got thrust into positions along that starting linebacking core simply because of injuries. So one thing that the Raiders have done over the years is they've neglected that linebacking spot, just like they've neglected the defensive tackle spot. And when that happens and you don't have that consistency in the pipeline year after year, you end up thrusting people in who are in over their heads. Now, I will mention one of the player, and I think it's probably the next one that's up on the list to mention, and that's J.J. Peggs. He's the defensive tackle that was selected at number 180. Now, I'm going to put this in the YouTube comment section also. J.J. Peggs is my sleeper of the entire Raiders draft, and I'll tell you why. He is at pick 180. His measurables, the program that he comes from, he came from a Mississippi program that was just a stud program up and down the line. Very reminiscent of a 2012 program that had studs up and down the line from the University of Oklahoma. And the 2013 draft at pick 184, the Raiders picked up a guy by the name of Stacy McGee. You may or may not remember. Stacy McGee was a 6th round pick. He not only made the team, he actually became a starter for that squad. Surprised everybody. And the only thing that shocks me is the fact that they did not extend him and keep him on the team, because he was a really, really good player. So that could have been the first player that had gotten a contract extended from his rookie year, but was not. Now, having said that, I think that Pegs has all the same measurables that Stacey McGee had. I can not only see him making the team, but I could conceivably see him, if an injury happens, moving into a starting role, or at least a rotational starting position. I'm really high on JJ Pegs. I think he's going to be my sleeper of this entire Raiders draft. I'm looking forward to seeing what he does in the OTAs, what he does in the preseason. And again, and you heard it here first, do not be surprised to see him be a rotational piece on that Raiders defensive front in the 2025 season.
We might even see him do some fullback, right? T3.
Yeah. You might see him receiving a pass, or maybe coming in as a jumbo fullback for that push play.
Yeah, what was his stat line? Like 21 rushing attempts, and 15 of those were touchdowns.
Yeah. He was a runner. Not just but he's not just a pass receiver, but they had him in as a runner, as a fullback. So a lot of versatility there.
I love the kid. I think it was a great pick.
That's going to be my sleeper of the entire draft, and I want people to keep an eye on him. Even though he's a 6th rounder, he's going to turn some heads in camp. So keep an eye on him.
And speaking of sleeper, is that your cue to say you got to go night?
Yeah. All right, you got it. Listen, I'll catch up with you guys later, and I'll certainly circle back around and see what your comments were for the rest of the program. But appreciate you having me on as always. And
thank you, T3. Before you go again, please tell everybody where they can follow you. You got those awesome videos. Go ahead and let everybody know.
Absolutely. If you go onto YouTube to T3 Sports Guy, I've got some videos on there. But also wherever you get your podcast, if you'll search Raider Roots, I've got about 75 episodes up. What it does is it takes the Raiders year by year, all the way back to the very first year. And it talks about the things that happen on the field and some behind the scenes off the field. Did a lot of research, started with this project a couple of years ago. I'm up through the year 2022 now. I'm putting together a 2-part episode on the 2023 season before I get to 2024, which probably shouldn't take that long to listen to. But anyway, just wherever you find your podcasts, search Raider Roots. If you want to catch up on all the Raiders history going all the way back, that's the way to do it.
And can I just tell you guys, and I'm not just saying it because he's here, but it's a really, if you're a new Raider fan, or if you're just a recent Raider fan and you want to truly understand the culture of the Raiders and why we have such a big nation, you got to listen to Raider Roots. Find it on Spotify, Apple, whatever, all this stuff. And it's really educational. I mean, truly educational to the point where you'll start to catch up to some of the Captain Jack knowledge out there. So thank you for that, Tom. We appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much. And I look forward to jumping on with you guys at a later time.
Tom, real quick before you go, are you on Instagram too?
I'm not. I'm limited in terms of what limited things I have, but I'm on Facebook, Tom THOM Jones. I'm on Raider T-Bone on the X, and then the YouTube channel.
And then you can email him too, Jeff, because you have his email.
Yeah.
Well,
and you have his phone number.
I got your number. Yeah. I got your number.
My phone number's in the private chat. Just send me a text.
No, you already have his number, Jeff. It's on the group. It's on the group when we did it the first time. Yeah, you already have his number, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, never mind.
That's okay. I'll send you a text. I'll send you a text.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Tom.
Okay. All right. Great. Gentlemen, have a great evening. Take care.
Take care.
Tom is truly a blessing, guys. He's I mean, again,
you already know where I'm going with this with him.
If you want to catch up on the stuff, the big thing with I'll tell you this, Jeff. The biggest thing you have to understand about Tom's schedule is he's so busy that it's kind of rare to get him, right? Like you can ask, but it's really rare. He can't do something that's unnormal because he is doing those projects. Like his extra time is those projects. That's why when we can get him in on a guest and he'll guest for Captain's show, or if you can get him to guest on your show, those are like few and far between, right? Yeah. But when you guest them, if you end up having him for an extended period of time, he reads off stats, man. Like he's got like bang, 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 bang.
I want to talk to him about our Saturday show that Chris and I do at night, where we cover Raider history.
Yeah, honestly, he probably won't be able to do that one because I tried to even invite him to yesterday's, and he's got a lot of stuff going on. But every once in a while he'll pop in, especially if you need like some.
It's the second time I've been on a panel with him, you guys.
No, he's amazing. He's amazing. That's why we always have him at Captain Jack show. Yeah, he's amazing. He's It's really great. Hey, shalom to Bishop. And then thanks to Jason Downs there. Yes. So if you watch the Captain Jack Rackham show, it's not the back and forth kind of like making fun that me and Chris do on Jeff's show. Because in the Captain Jack Rackham.
Wait. Back up. I'll make fun of you.
Oh, here it goes. Now it's going to start.
No. But what I'm saying is we're a little bit more loud. We're a little bit more loud and boisterous on the Jeff show. And you have to understand on the Captain Jack Rackham show, we are on Roku and it's a 2-hour period. So I have to put my DJ voice on, man. I got to do it, Jason. I do have the ability to do radio since I used to do a ton of media in the professional fight sports, as Jeff knows and Twuan knows about me. So,
time restraints, 45 minutes.
Yep. So, but thank you. I appreciate that. I want to get Chris's takes on the linebacker room, and in particular, if he knows anything about Cody Lindenberg or the Baylor's Matt Jones. Chris might have watched them. I don't know. So, what do you think about the linebacker room now, Chris?
Well, you know what happened to me on draft night. You saw that right before the 7th pick, my power blinked, and I couldn't even watch it. I couldn't watch the TV. So I had to wait 20-30 minutes, and my power came back up. I looked at Lindenberg. Yeah, he's a good, tough, rugged running linebacker. But who I really like is that guy Jalen Walker they picked up. He looked like to me like a sideline. The sideline can cover a tight end linebacker style, you know. So I'm interested in seeing what he does in camp. The other guy, Matt Baylor, didn't really get a chance to watch much about him, but I really watched Jalen Walker because he looked like. Let's see, he looked like okay. He can be I forgot his name, Diablo, but better. You know, that kind of linebacker supposed to help cover. So I'm gonna see him. The other guys I haven't watched yet, but I did see on Jalen Walker because I thought it was the other Jalen Walker. I said, wait a minute, I thought he got drafted, but it's not. It's a different Jalen Walker. But I think I like him better than the other guys, but we'll see in camp. The Lindenberg guy, I really get a chance to watch it. He'd probably be more like a Spillane type linebacker. What I look at is some of his.
That's correct. That's correct.
He could explain. So, like I said, he'd probably be one of those. Depending on the defense situation, he'd probably come in for a certain type of defense to take Roberts or Devin White. Because Devin White's older, so you know, I don't know how much injury history he has. So you got guys that these guys get hurt. They won't lose us. They won't lose a step because our biggest thing was that somebody get injured, we fall down. You know, we go backwards. But now what they drafted, what they picked UDFA, if somebody go down, we won't lose a beat. We're right back. We're still the same. We haven't changed. We haven't slowed down. So I like Jalen Walker, Lindenberg. I want to check out some more later on, and the other guy, Matt Jones. Is it Matt? Yeah, Matt Jones. I'm gonna look at those guys' tape and see how they are. But all in all, we need linebackers. I'm mad that we went so late to get them. I wish we got the other guy from Georgia, but somebody was picking him up. But other than all, okay. We'll see what we got.
Great. Thank you, Chris. And real quick, Twuan, I just want to shout out to all Eyes on G. You're awesome, man. So thank you very much for joining us tonight. Guys, I'm doing the best that I can to catch up. So please trust me. I'm trying to put up your comments, but I'm a little bit behind. Twuan, your thoughts on the linebackers with the 3 new ones we picked up and how our linebacker room looks now?
I'm looking at more roster wise, and I think what this organization is doing is they're trying to flush in not running backs, but linebackers for this team. Because to be honest with you, the only starter that we have, a serious starter, is Roberts. You know, we want to say Devin White's a starter, but they didn't give him starter money. They gave him a 1-year contract and said, hey, prove it. So they're not even believing that he can be that, you know what I'm saying, to solidify what we have going up front. So they're bringing in guys, and, you know, the Amari brothers are on notice. I'm talking about Amari Gaynor and Amari Burney. I think those guys are on notice with the guys that they're bringing in, and that's where the competition is going to really get really nasty for those guys. And I'm all for it. I've said this so many times. I don't care who they bring in, as long as, it could be Blue's Clues at linebacker. If he ends up beating out everybody, then I expect Blue Clue to be on the field. You know what I'm saying? So that's what they're doing with these guys. So these UDFAs and these guys that didn't get drafted, they're giving them the opportunity, and they're actually getting the opportunity, because right now we only have one starter at linebacker.
No, that's a great take, Twuan. And before we go on, I told you guys earlier when the show at Roku started that we may have a very special guest coming on, and here he is right now. And I wasn't talking about Captain Jack because it's his show. He's not really a special guest. He's just a special person. But I say special guest because this man, when I tell you that his show is really helped build this friendship during my time of recovery. April right now is Donate Life Month. It's about talking about organ donation. And for you guys who are familiar with my story, I had 30 days to live. I was blessed with the gift of life, second chance because of organ donation. And I talk about it every April. And this guy, I don't want to get too emotional, but he really brought me into the fold, had me on a 5-hour show with Stuart Schwaggart and Captain Jack. And I'm proud to call him a friend. I can tell you guys right now, you go to his channel every single day and there's always content, and he brings in great interviews from people. And this is not only a true Raider fan, but I think he's starting to get to that Raider analyst, Raider media, I might want to say, and he might have a press pass here real soon. But I'm talking about Protect the Shield podcast all the way from Ohio. My guy, Chris, Protect the Shields. Thank you, sir, for gracing us. I know you only got a few minutes, but
Angelo, check the private messages.
Yeah, hey, Chris, go ahead.
Hey, Angelo, man, I appreciate you, man, but I know special guest, man. I'm just a fan like all you guys, man, and I just enjoy it. But yeah, we definitely got a for life friendship, man. I'm glad that I was able to help you through whatever you need to get through and got you on this content, man. So it's a pleasure, being on the screen with everybody, man. Jeff and Twuan and Chris, man, all you guys, man. So
it's the first time on screen with me.
Yeah, it is, man. It is. So I don't got that much time. I got to jump. But yeah, I definitely want to make sure I linked up with you guys, man.
Yeah, no, and I'll tell you, Chris, since this is just a special edition to have you on, what we're doing on the show, and we got about another 40 minutes, was just going backwards, right? So we got to the point where we're talking about the linebacker room, because we talked about those two back-to-back quarterback 6th rounders and then the 7th round pick. And then we're going to start talking about the 5th rounders and all the way up. But since you're only here for a few minutes, can you go over your expert thoughts on all of it, just all across the board, your overall thoughts, and then we'll let you go.
Yeah, so real quick, just when I look at the overall grade, and I know Angelo, me and you were talking, throughout pretty much all of it. So I'll start at the beginning. With the Genty pick, I was a trade back guy. There was a couple guys that I wanted, and if they weren't there, I was trading back. So I wasn't necessarily super thrilled about Genty, but as a prospect, I love him. I think he's a dog. I think he's going to be a dog. But after seeing what the Browns did, that trade set them up for the next few years. That's how you really do a true rebuild. So I wanted to trade back, but maybe no one wanted to trade with us. We don't know. We're just fans, so we don't know behind the scenes. But then the Jack Bech pick, that's when I got a little concerned because, again, him as a prospect by himself, he's a great prospect. But we all know our wide receiver room lacks what? We lack a guy that is a true deep threat, 50-50 ball guy. We didn't have that. And I'm like, what are we doing? Because we already have Jacoby. We have Brock Bowers, both guys that can really work the middle, pause. But we didn't have a guy that could stretch the field. So, what do you guys? So are you guys trying to tell me that we're going to have Jack be our deep threat? No. So that's why I was not happy about that. Then going to our next pick, I love the fact that we were trading back. I love that, be able to pick up more picks. And then who do we get next? I think it was Rodgers. I do like Rodgers at guard. Definitely like Rodgers at guard. Charles Grant, he's a little green, but he has the tools to be able to, eventually become, compete for a starting job. But he's just not really, he's not there yet. not there yet. But day 3, when we got Thornton, that is when things started coming together for me, because it's like that makes, shout out to my boy Severe, because he was he says it so eloquently, but that made the rest of the draft picks kind of make more sense, because just having him on the field is going to help Genty. It's going to help Jack. It's going to it's going to help Gino. It's going to help everybody at that point, because now we got a guy that's going to take that that's going to get that safety's attention. Yeah. You better not leave him one-on-one with a 6-foot corner. You better not, because we'll get it done, because Gino can throw the deep ball. So I really like that. Then after Thornton, who do we get? I'm trying to remember. That's when we got Tom Thornton.
After Thornton.
Oh, I forgot about Porter. My bad.
Yeah, that's what I was.
My bad. My favorite pick was actually Darian Porter, because we definitely needed an aggressive corner, a guy with size, a guy that can run. And then when you think about pairing him up with Jacorian Bennett, we probably had the fastest pair of DBs in the league. On top of Eric Stokes, he's a 4.3 guy. We have Palomal, he's an athletic freak. And then even our safety that we just got, he's a burner. We probably have the fastest DB room, so I'm excited about that. And then going to Tonka was a head scratcher for me, because there were some other DTs that I wanted, like I know Cam Jackson was on the board, Farmer was on the board, there was a couple other guys, and again I wanted a 2-gap, nose tackle type DT, where we did get him, with what's his name, JJ, what's his name? Okay, yeah. So he's more of that. So I definitely love that pick. So then the 2 6-round picks, a little questionable. I'm learning more about them. I know a lot of guys are trying to say we got Julian Edelman 2.0. So it's like I always want to pump the brakes on that, because we all thought that we had Christian McCaffrey 2.0. So let's just wait and see what happens. But then I think
he's more like Renfro, a faster version of Renfro.
Renfro.
That's my opinion. Yeah. I don't think Edelman at all with him.
Tougher, bro, a beast, but
yeah, for sure. So that's kind of where I'm at, man. Hate to be so long-winded, but that's kind of where I'm at with it.
And that's why I wanted you to do that, because I know you got to go. There is this, and I want to bring this up, Chris, because Edward Winchell says, I think AOC better start putting the word out. He'll be available. What do you think about that? Now that, because my boy Haj Malik, man, that's my guy, Haj Malik. And I said when I wanted a bunch of UNLV guys to go to the Raiders, but when he went on, I was like, Carter Bradley's out. And in all honesty, man, I think Cam Miller might be a practice squad guy, because Haj Malik could do everything that Gino can do. I mean, not to Gino's level. I'm just saying ability wise, he can emulate, he can mix and match. Well, what do you think about that comment? Do you think AOC's gone, or do you think something else?
No, you actually got me hip to him, man. In fact, I remember talking to you during that Boise State UNLV game, and you got me hip. Actually, you got me hip ever since that UNLV quarterback quit on you guys. So what it does tell me is Chip Kelly is bringing in athletic quarterbacks, and the only athletic one that we don't have is AOC. So a lot of times when you're trying to build an offense, you want all your quarterbacks to be able to run the offense the same way. So I don't know, man. AOC, I know a lot of people love him, man, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't know if it's gonna make too much sense keeping him. That's just me.
What do you think his trade value would be?
We got him in the 4th round.
Late 4th.
I hate to say it, man, but I don't think no one's going to give us more than I think a 5th is pushing it. I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I know people think we're going to get like a 3rd for him. There's no way. There's no way. No way. He already shows he can't stay healthy. He he can't move. I mean, he does show some good arm talent at times, but I can't see no one giving up a day 2 pick for him. That's just me though.
Wow.
What do you think though? Well, I mean, I know you love him, but
First of all, I don't want to hear. Yeah, first of all, I don't want to hear no trade talks. I think me and Jeff are on the same track here. Well, you don't want to trade Aiden O'Connell. He's already proven he's got adversity, toughness. I already told all of you guys. Me and Chris actually were on the Captain Jack Rackham show when we were going over trenches shows and all kinds of stuff. And me and Chris have been on the Protect the Shield podcast together and Captain Jack Rackham together, going back and forth about Aiden O'Connell, and me trying to explain to him that had he came out the year before he did, when he took Purdue to the bowl games, was beating Michigan State, was balling, he'd have been at least the number 15th overall pick. And he had a first round grade. So I don't think we should get rid of him. That's me. I know Jeff's going to agree with me, but I don't want to get too filled into the
only reason I say you don't want to get rid of him is you get rid of him. Now who's your real backup in case Gino goes down? I would feel more confident with AOC coming in as the backup than I would with Bradley or Miller or anybody else that's in our quarterback room. At that point, might as well just put Jacoby Myers back there at that point. At least he's super athletic. We can freaking run the ball.
No, I agree.
That's how I look at it. I still think AOC is one of the best backups in the league, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I agree there. I agree.
I just think it's funny that a lot of people are so ready to get rid of a quarterback when we really ain't got that many quarterbacks in the first place in that room. You know what I'm saying? Like, we really ain't got quarterbacks that we can say, oh, we can on week 7, that person can go out there and not, you know what I'm saying, totally stink up the joint and not try to keep us in games. You know what I'm saying? Like that,
but he's easily replaced. He's easily upgradable.
No, he's replaceable, but we don't have. It's not like we have anybody behind him or anything to push that. So why even mess with it at this point?
My thing is.
At this point, I think, whether you try to get trade value from him or not, I think you just let his rookie contract play out and let the chips fall where they may at that point. You know what I'm saying? You got a good 4 years of service from him, you know what I'm saying, being a depth piece or possibly being a starter for us in those 4 years. So thank you for your 4 years of service, and we're on to the next. But at least if we're bringing people in, then we could eventually flush him out. But I don't think we're in that place right now.
Well, my thing is, AFC never got a fair shot at doing anything. He came in, they drafted him in the 4th round, so you expect the 4th round pick to be the starter. But still, he was better than what we had. We had Jimmy Glass and old man Hoyer. Okay, he had to learn. But then the next following year, what they do? Bring in Minshew and all that stuff. He never got a fair shot at it. When Garoppolo went down, all that stuff. What McDummy do? Throw him in, no practice, nothing, and look like I told you, rookie didn't play. So basically, he tried to make himself look good. So he never got a fair shot. He should have started last year. So why are we going to trade away one of the best? I think the best backup quarterback, like Jeff said. If Gino goes down, you gonna bring a rookie in? No. This guy been there for 3 years, going on 4. Bring him in until Gino gets better. So no trade, OC. Just keep him.
You know what I would do though? Whoever doesn't shake out in the Giants, I would take them as our backup.
Ooh, that's a hot take.
Hey, I said holla at Jameis before he went over there.
Yeah,
just to be honest with you. Before he went over there, I was like, let's see what Jameis is talking about.
He's a great teammate, if nothing else. He's a great teammate.
As a backup, I didn't want him.
I wouldn't mind
talking about looking for a starter.
No. But as far as someone that in cases of injury, you bring them in. Yeah, but yeah, or Russ. Like they're not gonna keep all them guys over there. So somebody's gonna have to shake out, and then who get whoever for the league minimum. I'll take that all day.
Yeah.
So how about those offensive linemen we drafted this weekend?
No. Stop it, man. Stop it. So no, Chris. Before we move forward, we have 30 minutes left on the show.
We're kicking a dead horse here.
But while Chris is still here, I want to just give a quick shout out to Coach Gravy, Mike Cavazos. He's my for the longest time for when I was with you guys, when I was on Protect the Shield podcast the last few years, I'd always be Raider Transplant. I was the only liver transplant. I'm coming on, right? then my brother, God bless him, got his liver transplant. He's in recovery right now, 4 months. We pray for him all the time. He's doing so great. He was on a show for like 12 hours. It was insane. I don't know how this guy has that much energy. 4 months
talking shit the whole time. Just like Gravy does.
We love you, Coach Gravy. April is Donate Life Month. We appreciate you, bro. And thank you to all the organ all the people who consider organ donation out there. That's the reason why me and Coach Gravy are alive today. So thank you guys. And then without further ado, Chris, I know you got to leave, but before you do, I got to bring in a man who there's not a lot of us Asians, representing the nation on camera. And as you know, Chris has been pushing me to do my own channel since like 2023, I think. And he knows that the recovery for a liver transplant takes a long time. But in the meantime, I started watching this guy who I still haven't seen, even though we live like 15 minutes away from each other here in Las Vegas. I still haven't seen him personally, but I see him on the shows all the time. He's been on the Captain Jack Rackham show a few times. And if you guys want solid information, I mean, like deep level stuff, draft, and I'm talking about recent times too, because when we were on Jeff's show, he's the one that said, well, I like Cody Lindenberg, when I was trying to say I like Jackson Woodard. And this is the guy who gets credit for us taking Cody Lindenberg. I can't say enough about this man. Paul, or as you know him, 805 Raider, welcome to the Captain Jack Rackham Show here on Roku channel.
What's going on, guys? Hey, I appreciate you guys letting me jump on for a second. And Angelo, I appreciate the intro. Our Raiders haven't drafted so well, so I'm not sure if me bragging about Cody Lindenberg will actually pan out. But I'll take the credit where I can grab it.
All right.
But no, man, I appreciate jumping. I just want to jump on real quick and say thanks to Jeff, Christopher Raiders, Angelo, Twuan, you guys, man, we hung out all day yesterday for basically that first the day 3, and you guys let me jump on and chop it up with you guys. And so I just want to jump on and say I appreciate it.
I appreciate you being there with us. That was fun. Yeah. That was a good day.
Yeah, man. I got a little comfortable for you guys sitting in my chair over here.
The guns out. Yeah, the guns out too.
It was good. I'm away today.
The best guesting Paul ever did for the Jeff show is he called in at like 2 a.m. or 1 a.m. It was really late. He was super happy. You remember that night, Jeff? He was super happy that we did what we did, and he was like 2 bottles in.
We're gonna call it happy. Yes, I was.
Wait, was that the Adam Butler day?
That was the Adam Butler day.
Oh wow, yeah. Oh yeah.
He was on one.
He stumbled into the show with a bottle in his hand. It was fucking great.
He was feeling good.
Our man Paul was like slurring, like, I'm so happy right now.
I was keeping my kids up.
I was by the end of the night, Friday night.
I was keeping my kids up in the house. It was bad. It was bad. It was, I think it was a comment from somebody in the live yesterday and asked, hey, do you guys ever go back and learn from what you did in the past? And my instant answer was, yeah, I think I learned from that one. Maybe I'll keep the bottle hidden around the corner. So yeah, that was a good one, man. But I want to jump on here just real quick. I know you guys only have about 30 minutes, but just want to say, hey, appreciate it. Thanks for letting me jump on and chop it up with you guys. And
now, before you go, we do want to get that overall take, kind of like what Chris did, because I know you got to jump on to your show. Which, by the way, if you guys aren't following him yet, please subscribe, please like. He does a show just about every day. Severe.
We just ended.
Yeah,
they just finished.
Oh, you just ended it. Okay,
we just ended.
If you guys are jumping on to this one now,
I have to just get to the wife and kids because I was up with the draft for the last 3 days, and so I'm like, okay.
Hey, but salute to y'all, man. Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you so much,
Twuan, Chris, man. I appreciate y'all.
Hey, so just real quick, Paul, your overall take 1 through 7 draft, and then we'll let you go. Go ahead.
I think what was good is all the picks kind of made sense. Like they countered each other, right? You got Genty, and then you got your guards. You got Jack Besh, which again just kind of seemed like more of a possession receiver, like Jacoby Myers. So you're trying to figure out, okay, what's the plan? Are we going to have a bunch of receivers that are going to work, within that 10 to 30 yard range, and everything's going to be muddled up? But then they followed up with Deontay Thornton, right, which is a guy that can stretch the field. So I think obviously the Porter pick was good because you gotta address this secondary. We weren't sure whether or not we were going to be satisfied with the free agents that we brought in. Right. So we weren't sure just kind of what the overall consensus, and they went and got Darian Porter. So it looks like they got the secondary some help. I wish we would have gotten a linebacker a little bit earlier. Yeah, we got Lindenberg, which was great, but you don't expect much from a 7th rounder. You don't expect a 7th rounder to come in and make a massive move. And as much as I like the kid, he's still a 7th rounder. You just don't know what you're going to get truly out of him at this level. I wish we would have maybe taken an earlier pick, like the Hemingway pick. There's an overall consensus that we probably could have gotten Hemingway a little bit later. And if we would have done that and picked a linebacker in that position, I think that would have made more sense. But we didn't. But I think overall, we addressed a lot of the needs. A lot of the picks complemented each other. And I think you can clearly say that this offense got better. This offense got better. We addressed the offensive line. We got Genty. Deontay Thornton's going to take the top off the defense, which is something we haven't had last year. We thought Trey Tucker could be it. Maybe he still can be. But what we've seen so far, he struggles with separation, and that has to do with a lot of route running. His ability to just be more efficient in his route running and being able to get defenders, manipulate defenders' bodies to turn, and then he cuts at the right time. I just don't think he has it, and he hasn't been able to get that separation. So hopefully that is going to allow him to be more of, I guess, to really see what we have out of him. I think that's the biggest thing is before we move on from Trey Tucker, we got to figure out exactly what we have. And I think Deontay Thornton's going to help him kind of be more of that receiver that can expose zone coverages and run a lot of crossers where he can get from one side to the other side. And let's see if those DBs can keep up with him. Let's just hope we can see more out of him. So, I think at the end of the day, I think we just graded it on our channel between myself, Chris, and Severe, and we basically I gave it a B+, because we addressed a lot of needs. Those back-to-back quarterbacks in the 6th round was a little iffy, but the only thing I can think of that would potentially justify making those picks is you had an early 7th round. You had one early 7th round. It did look like they probably targeted that linebacker because they missed on linebackers early. If you let certain quarterbacks get to the outside of the draft and now they become undrafted free agents, I'm not versed on that process. I'll be honest. I don't know how that process is, but I could see that maybe in their minds, if they're high on those guys, you let them become undrafted free agents. Now it's a bidding war, it sounds like. And if you really like those guys, don't let them get to the undrafted free agents.
Yeah.
And in addition to that, we had so many picks on the front part of this draft. I mean, we had 11 total picks. That's the most picks the Raiders have had in the last 20 years. I think only one year of the last 20, we've picked 11 players in the draft. Usually it's around 8 players. That's kind of the average. And so I think they did so much work and had so many picks in the front part of the draft. It almost kind of gave them that flexibility a little bit to say, look, if there's a couple players we don't want to get to the undrafted free agent bid war, we just snag them now. And maybe that was their mindset. And they got them. They're on the roster, and now they get to see what they got in them. So that's the only way I can kind of justify that, because when that pick happened, I'm sitting there going, damn, they sound like undrafted free agents to me. Not sure why we're snagging them late in the 6th, but only way I can kind of justify it.
And Paul, that's exactly what it is. It's literally what they're doing in college now is the NIL. There's two things that match up when you're a UDFA. When you get that UDFA call, it is the opportunity. Like you look at a team, it's like, okay, I'm a linebacker. What is the chances of me actually making the 53? Okay, maybe I need to go over there. But then the second part of that is money. So there's money also involved with that. So they can say, hey, come over here. There's an opportunity for you to be a linebacker, but then we're also going to give you $700K. You know what I'm saying? So it becomes a bidding war on that too, money wise, but also the opportunity of play. So that if you want to avoid that, you know what I'm saying? You definitely have to pull the trigger on them in the draft.
Yeah, 100%. The more and more I thought about it, I said, look, if they were really high on these guys, then and you did not want them to get out of the draft, and enter that bidding war, then that's why you pulled the trigger. So I'm assuming there's something about them they really like. They've obviously done their homework. And I think at the end of the day, this is not Spytek, because this is his first time running the ship. But with Pete Carroll has done it before. He's done it at a high level. He's proven that he's one of the best to do it, at least in this, as it relates to the coaches that are available now that are in the league. And so at least in Pete Carroll, I'll trust the process, see how he does, and we'll see what we can make of these guys. So,
and Paul, before you do go, shout out to the chat, man. You guys are awesome. Believe me, I'm trying to catch up. I'm putting up everybody's comments in there. There's a lot going on. I want to ask you one last thing, Paul, so that I want to get the thing with Paul is he played it, he coaches it. I'm sure his girls are probably going to play flag football
or cheerleaders, whichever one.
Or cheerleaders. Well, flag football probably, but we'll see. Or cheerleaders. It depends on what you want, Paul. It depends on what they want.
No, it depends on what they want. I just live in this world. That's it.
Yep.
And pay the bills. That's what Paul does.
Exactly. I work and pay the bills. You're right.
Yeah. But Paul, I think this is the first time in a long time. I can't remember a time where just about 90% of the Raider Nation is super happy with the way the draft went. The media is going crazy, giving us A's like nuts. And I wanted to just pump the brakes on everyone. My overall feeling is everybody's saying we're going to win the AFC East, or, sometimes you can get too happy. And I want to just take it a step back in that, you guys know that my background was in professional fight sports. I was coaching. I was there. And what I know about training people is that you got to give them time. So what I'm just hoping for the Raiders to do is to play all these guys this year, and whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to put the pressure or the onus on them to make it to the playoffs. But in your professional opinion, what do you think, Paul? Do you think this team is a ready team, or where are you at?
It's hard to sit there and go, this is a ready team. It's hard to do that with the moves they made, because I think we are going to rely on some of these rookies to be the final piece of the puzzle. Like a Deontay Thornton, he's the final piece of the puzzle to allow Jacoby Myers and Brock Bowers to really work. Jack Besh, rookie, hopefully he pans out. And then we need that final piece at the guard position. Let's hope Caleb Rogers, he works out. I think we're relying a little bit on some of these rookies to be the final piece to the puzzle. But the only thing I can say is it's been a long time, but it's been a handful of years since we've had really a quarterback that if we put the pieces around him, we have a fighting chance every single game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so I think Geno Smith is going to allow us to battle if we shore up this offensive line. We gave him, if Genty can be who a lot of us expect him to be, I think we're going to have a fighting chance every single time that we go into a game. We have a veteran that's going to understand the situation. Him and Pete Carroll obviously have a great relationship. You got now we also have, and Angelo, you just said it, with the coaching side, we now have an offensive coordinator that's did it before at this level.
Yeah.
And so now he's going to be able to produce an offense that I think a lot of us can say is going to give us a fighting chance. He's going to put an offense together that he knows what potentially can work at this level. It's been a long time since we've had an offensive coordinator that we all can feel confident about, that, you know what, he's done it before. Let's trust the process. And so, again, I'm not saying that we're going to the playoffs this year. I'm saying I think this roster and this coaching staff is set up to give us a fighting chance every single game. And I think it's kind of woken up our division rivals as well. I think that them seeing the roster that we have, the coaching staff we've put together, I think they now they know we mean business. We don't have, all respect to Antonio Pierce. He kind of put it was a rough situation for him, but at the end of the day, he was coaching high school football 6 years ago. And so the path that he got to becoming a head coach was not the proper path. Yeah. So there's a lot that he had to learn. We now have an experienced head coach, experienced coaching staff across the board. So I think it's going to allow us to have a fighting chance every single game. So that's what I'm excited about. That I think they're going to set this roster up to battle every Sunday.
I honestly feel like if you look at the other teams in our division at their draft this past weekend, I think they also semi-reacted to what we did, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, look at Denver. They just brought in another cornerback that's going to hopefully partner up. Well, not hopefully for us, but hopefully they're thinking, you know, he's going to play opposite of Surtain. You know, you see the Chargers just pulled in another running back. You know, you see these other teams in our division. The wide receiver that went to Kansas City, right? Wasn't a wide receiver they took in the yeah. So I mean, you see these other teams in our division reacting, I think, to also what we're bringing in, just because of our coaching, just not because of what players we brought here. It's the coaching that we've got. You know, the team's gonna be going in the right direction. You know, so I'm extremely pleased with how this weekend went. You know, which is unusual for me as a Raiders fan after years and years of just being miserable after the drafts and coaching decisions. You know, I finally feel like, you know, we're starting to pump the water out of this ship and righten it a little bit here, you know. So I know Angelo asked earlier how I thought about the linebackers. I said, I got to wait, you know, until practices start. We get some preseason games, you know.
Yeah.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on, just I promise I'll let you talk. Chris, just to remind everybody again, we're on the Captain Jack Rackham channel on Roku. It's going to end in like 10 minutes. So I'm going to let Paul go. He's got a wife. He's got his 2 beautiful daughters. You know, I don't want to keep him here. Thank you, Paul, for your time. We appreciate it. Can you tell everybody where they can watch you again?
Yeah, I'm 805 Raider. My channel's Real Talk Raider Nation. So I appreciate it. I go live sometimes. I try to jump on with these guys when I can. Show my support, man. I appreciate you guys. And again, thank you for letting me join you guys yesterday. I had a good time. Got to chill out with you guys and chop it up. And so that's just what I do. Appreciate you guys, man. And I'll see you guys on the next one.
Great channel. Make sure you guys hit his channel up for sure.
Thanks.
And then shout out to my man, Severe Raider. Thank you so much for always being supportive. And you know that we got a big boxing weekend, so you and I are going to have to talk offline on that. Thank you, Severe. Shout out. And then, with the few minutes that we do have left, let's go over it real fast. I'm going to combine the wide receivers together, right? And then we'll get a chance to talk to everything. And I'll start with you, Chris, on this. But overall, we get those 2 wide receivers in on Jeff's show, and we were going on for 8 hours and whatnot. We kept talking about how we need to address the wide receiver. We need to address the wide receiver. Well, now we got 2. We got a guy who ran the 4.3 flat in the combine. This guy is fast. He's fast. All right. 6'5", DK Metcalf lookalike, Dante Thornton. And then again, for me, I'm very high on Jack Besh. I want to hear you guys' quick thoughts on it, starting with you, Chris. I honestly believe that Jack Besh is a Fred Biletnikoff type. He catches the ball. Doesn't matter where you throw it. He'll catch the ball, and he's tough, and he's gritty, and he doesn't give a F. So what do you think, Chris, of the 2 wide receivers we picked up?
Well, we got to remember that Jacoby Myers had the least drop rate in the NFL last year. This guy, Best, dropped 1 pass in college. 1. So we got possession receivers. The Thornton guy, when they picked him, I looked at it like, okay, I keep telling you guys, that's what we need. We need a big receiver to go 50-50. We never had that. We had nobody that challenge downfield. I mean, we can depend on Brock. Yeah, we will. But we need somebody to open it up for Brock. We need that safety to peek in like, oh, shoot, I can't double team Brock. This guy's running past me. So let's go open Pilates for Brock, Jacoby, Beggs, and where the receiving crew would be. But anyway, I'll say this right quick, then I'm going to get off. This is the first draft I've seen in a long time. I've been Raiders fan for a long time where I'm not doing this like, what the, you know? My hat had to stay on my head the whole time. So 90% of Raiders fans have it. I think it's more than that. But anyway, I'm done.
Thank you. No, thanks, Chris. And do you have to go, or can you stick around till the end?
No, yeah, I'm looking at the time because I know you talk for like 30 minutes and then you give some.
All right, now this is what he does on the Jeff channel. But as you notice, throughout the 2 hours of the show right now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the one that spoke the least. All I did was introduce everyone. So
muting you.
But Chris, all right, we're gonna say goodbye to Chris. Chris,
no, I'm not going nowhere. Okay. I'm just
all right, you're just messing around. All right. So go ahead, Jeff. The 2 wide receivers. Go ahead.
Great picks. Love them both. One kid definitely back. You just watch his reaction when we called him. He wants to be here. You know, his personal tragedy, that story behind him with his brother it's emotional. If anybody doesn't know, not aware of it, his brother was one of the people that were killed in that terrorist attack in New Orleans. His brother, supposedly, from what I've heard, was a Raiders fan also. And after he got off the phone with us, first thing he did was he went to the gravesite to go visit his brother to let him know that he made it to the NFL, that he was drafted. So this kid wants to be a Raider, which makes you feel even better that, you know, he wants to be here and perform for this team. So let's hope that, you know, it works out. And I like Thorne. I like the other kid too, especially. I mean, tall, fast. That's Al Davis must be ecstatic right now if he's looking down on what this team just did this weekend. Just him alone, that speed, you know. We brought speed in. We haven't had that in a while like this.
Yeah, they called him the Mark Davis pick. That's what both Brandon.
Oh, did it? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, because Mark Davis
really?
really wanted him. Yeah, so that we might have to give the credit to the owner on that one. Go ahead, Twuan. The two wide receivers.
Yeah, I think there's one that you can just rip him out the plastic and he's ready to go, and I think that's Jack Best. I think he's just a plug and go type of wide receiver. I don't think there's much he has to work on. Of course, there's going to be adjustments because he is a rookie going into the NFL. But when you talk about Thornton does have the measurables. Yes, he's fast and all of that stuff, but he's more of a one-trick pony. And unfortunately, you know, he's going to have to build on that. He's going to have to develop the route tree, you know, saying bigger than just the slant and the go route. You know, in college, a lot of times these wide receivers, if they're really good at one thing, that's what their coaches make them do, because of course it's a production organization in regards to, you know, college football. So if all he can do is run a 9-yard, then that, you know, run that 9 route, then that's what they're going to have him do. So when he gets here, there's going to be some lumps because he's going to have to learn the whole route tree for him to be that DK Metcalf or whatever, you know, people are trying to, you know, project him to be. So he's still considered a project. So we have one guy that's ready to go, and then one that I think is still a work in progress.
All right. And then let's cap it off, because we went over. I mean, Chris kind of talked about Tonka Hemingway and everything else. And if you guys want more content, you go to Jeff's channel on 401 Raider Jeff, or as I usually Google it, NE Raider Booster Club, and then it shows up. But if Jeff's doing a show after this, talk more, that's fine. Captain Jack show's about to end, so I have to say that with the final, I guess the final pick we would talk about, because we can talk about Genty all we want, but let's focus on what everybody's excited about, which is Darian Porter, a Richard Sherman lookalike, a guy who played wide receiver for 4 years. Quick thoughts on him, Twuan, starting with you.
What I saw on tape, just one thing that really stuck out to me was on tape, he was very comfortable when the ball was in the air. And that's where a lot of people get flags and stuff in regards to being a cornerback. So it seems like he's very comfortable, you know, guarding, and he's going to learn, because he's not completely versed at being a corner. He still has to learn and grow there. But when the ball is in the air, he's very comfortable. And I think that'll help us with not getting too many pass interferences.
Great. Chris?
Yeah, well, like that, Darren Porter, yeah, with Pete Carroll being the DB coach back in his history, he's going to teach him, because he's only been a DB for 3 years. He was a wide receiver first, so he knows the route trees of receivers, so he can stick with them. But like I said, he got to learn a few things. I think he probably be a rotational guy for now, you know, bring him on special occasions. But like I said, Pete Carroll's DB coach, so he's going to coach him up. So I think when he picked him, I was happy. He's big, strong, and he's fast. So I think.
And Jeff,
DB back good, yes. Offensive line even better. I wanted to talk about them, but we don't have time now.
Well, we can do it on your show, and again, I in fact we did a lot, but we can even break down the info even more if you want to do it on your show on 401 Raider Jeff on the YouTube channel, or at Chris4 Raiders on the YouTube channel. Twan's got a channel. Everybody, so go to Raider Twuan at the YouTube channel. And, you know, just last thing for me before I say my goodbyes, so I want to thank you All of you guys are always awesome. I appreciate all your knowledge. Every single person here has such a good insight. And we have a lot of fun. You and me, Chris, we have a good time, right?
Angelo, without you, the show was boring, man. I had to fight with somebody. You the only person. I'll fight with Jeff because he always, he drink his coffee and don't say anything. So
yes, sir. Yes, sir. And of course, we want to thank Captain Jack, who's in Green Bay. Thank you for letting us continue to share our thoughts on your channel.
I talk too much.
Captain Jack Rackham channel is always on the Roku channel, Thursday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and Sunday nights, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. There might be a show on Tuesday. Jeff might open up after this show, but we just want to say good night. Thank you to the chat. Thank you, everyone. Go Raider Nation.
Everybody.
Let's do it.